that very badly, they should not suffer. But this happens. No one can stop it. It happens. We can't stop that. We can instruct them. We can tell them. We can conduct toolbox talks. We can ask foremen to conduct toolbox talks, and we conduct toolbox talks. Safety engineers conduct toolbox, even during hacksaw work or during cutting ply, during cutting timber, working on steel fixing, short firing. I mean, there are many tools which are power operated and which can cause accident to people. This happens. People are advised as such, but after all, they are human being. Human being are human being. You can't say anything. Then we say these are power tools, and as for machinery and equipment, I told you, machinery and equipment. Many machines work on site, heavy machines work, excavator work on site. You can say JVC work on site. And then bulldozers, you see our bulldozers, same thing. You can say mobile pumps work on site, and other pumps and trucks work on site, compressors work on site, generators work on site. You can say forklift work on site, and I don't think that of course tower crane, mobile crane, many machines work on site. Depends on what sort of site is that. We have to understand that point. That's very important. So machinery and equipment, construction, I said power tools, we said hazardous substances. Hazard name itself says dangerous, explosive means chemical, means like disease spreader, like epidemic creator, like environment polluter. All those hazardous substances which must be taken care of by safety guys and all. We have to, when we store chemicals, when we store something like that, explosives or some other material that is used for site in a chemical form, what weight should be stored, what temperature should be given, how, why should people be kept away from this, or even in store how it's kept. It's all points are required to be considered. All these even in safety talks before also. You please refer to those talks because it's no use to repeat again and again just to extend time of this video. So because the hazardous substances are already there, a lot of discussion has been done on that. Now hot work and welding, hot work controls and cold work, all this and fire prevention and protection, which is also very important. Protection from fire, prevention from fire, and its protection, all given there. Access and egress, that is very important point. Access means enter to site and away from site, go out from site. Access and egress, that's important point. So you have to come safe to site, you have to go out safe. Even if you have to go to deep trench, you have to enter safe. You have to come out of deep trench, you have to be safe there. Then there is, access and egress, and then housekeeping, which is really very important point, housekeeping, because housekeeping is not only for site, it's for all areas of site. Housekeeping is site should be tidy, site should be hygienic, no building of mosquitoes, good toilet, good water areas, good area for rest of people during lunch and take food, and you can say clean area where we work. It should be area where there's no chances of fire, and kitchen should be in right place if it's on site. Our office locations, whatever services we provide temporarily, and whatever we do, and that is housekeeping. We should make it clean, everything. Site should look tidy in all its location. No nail should be there on site so you can get puncture your leg, and it should be reasonably clear site. I'm not saying means you have to clean it like your home floor, but it should be worth sitting, worth working. Warning signs and barricades. This is normal. You have to put warning signs inside as well as outside, the entry everywhere. You have to define which area is safety area, which area is ordinary area, what you have to wear in safety area, and how you have to conduct in non-safety area, or non-hard area, non-process area. And barricades, you have to put barricades. You can't enter here without this. That's some blockage, some cones, and some rope or something. And material handling, transportation, and storage. This is material handling by equipment, but transportation of that. Whatever you do should not cause environmental hazards. Truck will dump their sand, dust, aggregate, and other materials and transport from site and to site. And storage of the matter properly should be done, and lay down areas like that, lock out and tag out, lock out and tag out, and temporary works and temporary facilities. We have included all this in the stocks. And underground and overground utilities, underground like infrastructure like water supply, or sewerage line, or you can say something else. And overhead utilities, electric wire, or maybe something else, or these must be taken care of sub services standards. Though we don't have wires on such site, but overhead utilities. Utilities have to provide these. Maybe you provide some water tank for site purpose, that tank, or you may provide tanks on your toilets, or there will be some overhead utility like you can provide something for some other reason. And then working underground overhead utilities and working over adjacent to water. Working environment, personal protective equipment, you all know about that. Then site traffic control, including setting and taking down of all temporary traffic devices. Well, this is a general one. We have to take one much more care, and this is given in our separate talk somewhere. Now, safety plan shall detail arrangements that contractor use to ensure health and safety performance of all subcontractors that may enter worksite. It shall detail arrangements for evaluating subcontractors prior to them being contracted to undertake work. It shall deal methods that contractors shall use to monitor their work, and penalties that be imposed should acceptable standards not be maintained. A safety plan shall detail manner in which contractor review, approve, and incorporate all subcontractor occupational health and safety plans, risk assessments, and method statement, and incorporate them into their occupational health and safety management system. Now, the safety plan shall detail arrangements that contractor use to ensure acceptable occupational health and safety performance of all persons on work site. In particular, it shall detail arrangements for penalties and disciplinary action that shall be taken should contractor personnel, subcontractor employees, uh, or other person on work site not comply occupational health and safety requirements. Safety plan shall detail arrangements that contractor shall use to control and ensure acceptable occupational health and safety performance of visitors and delivery personnel that may enter work site. Safety plan shall detail contractors' arrangements for effectively managing emergency incidents that may occur as a result of work or on work site. Details shall include facilities required for emergency preparedness. Safety plans shall detail Arrangements for notification and investigation of whatever incident that may occur as a result of works on or okay. Now let's see. Safety plan shall be arrangements for contractors' monthly performance reporting and incident reporting. Contractors shall ensure that their project monthly health and safety statistics report is completed and submitted by agreed date to engineer and quality along with safety department. Engineer shall provide necessary format for this report. Information collected shall be submitted to engineer and quality with safety. Safety plan shall detail arrangements for assessment of general health of employees and job specific health checks that may be required. Safety plan shall detail Safety plan shall detail arrangements for self-inspection and auditing shall be used to monitor what. Then you can say safety plan shall detail arrangements for tracking and effectively closing occupational health and safety related non-conformity or deficiency that could be identified as a result of monitoring written records of inspection, auditing and tracking shall be maintained and made available to any representative of client on request. Then safety plan shall detail arrangements for ensuring that all contractor personnel and subcontractor employees are trained and competent to undertake their work in accordance with required standards. In particular, safety plan shall detail training and competence requirement for following employees. Now, supervisors, electricians, mobile plant and vehicle operators, crane and lifting, appliance operators, riggers, excavation supervisors, machine operators, scaffolding supervisors, confined space workers, confined space supervisors, and now these designations that I told you, these are very critical designation. This says this is where the safety plan shall detail training and training and competence requirements for these persons, and this is very important for both contractor as well as subcontractors. And these are supervisors. Supervisors means you can say like the senior foreman or foreman both. Supervisors means sometimes supervisors are in higher designation. Okay. So why I say supervisor training is very important because to supervise. Supervisors must be qualified, educated, trained, and probably diploma holder in engineering, possibly, or even degree holders, because they should understand drawings, they should understand what class doing, what activities are involved, what plans are involved, and then instruct directly all these people. And electricians, which are very risky, electrician job is very risky, and therefore we say electricians must be licensed. So these persons should be well trained, licensed. For well, you cannot say for supervisor. There may be, may not be. It depends on what level of supervisor is. The mobile plant and vehicle operators. These are very risky. Mobile plants or machines, they have to go to a road also. Vehicle operators similarly, so they must be well licensed according to class of vehicles. They must know about their vehicle also. They must understand mechanism as well. This may be some repair required, what to say, what economic means. Similarly, crane and lifting appliances operators. These are more, much more even than, because they should know about how much load they have to lift, and they should know mechanism of crane, what chart, load chart says, and all these things. They're also very important, skilled people. And then riggers, which is this riggers means scaffolders. It is that excavation supervisors, which is separately given here. Excavation is also very risky business. As I would say, with deep excavation, people fall and lose their lives. So they must understand how to easily handle them there. Your ladder should be used. Where some arrangements are there. How a machine can come within the ramps like this means excavation. It must be excavation cannot be started without good plan. That's a one point. And then this is excavation supervisor and machinery operators. Machine operators means I'm talking of heavy machine operators, I'm talking of small machine operators. These operators must know how to operate stuff accordingly. Required licenses, and scaffolders are well trained, must be well trained, scaffold supervisors must be well trained, and confined space workers cannot go to work until permit is there, and power must be done within that time or with time, and confined spaces supervisors and all persons are given a high soil. Already told you about height. And in that way, you can say all safety plans shall, all safety plans shall detail training arrangements, specify type and nature of training to be given, including but not limited to induction, pre-work, subject. Uh, I mean, so you can say, I repeat this: safety plan shall detail training program, training arrangements, specify type and nature of training to be rendered, including but not be limited to induction, induction briefing, induction pre-work briefing, and toolbox talks. Very important one. I put already some URL in general skills training and formal training conducted by training professionals or agencies. Written records of attendees training given and assessment of competency shall be maintained by contractor and made available for inspection by representative of client upon request. That's it. Little tired. No problem. Work is work. Tired or not tired. It's already what time it is. 6:20 is we have time. Let us see if we continue this only. Depends upon what we say. So now we say that now we say that then say safety plans shall detail contractors' arrangement for promoting awareness of occupational health and safety issues through posters, newsletters, booklets, occupational health and safety alerts, and some other means. Such information shall be provided in language preferred by training recipients of training. Safety plans shall detail arrangements that contractors shall detail in the contract make to reinforce good performance. Such arrangements shall include incentive schemes to reward contractors' personnel, subcontractor employees, or areas of work that demonstrate exemplary occupational health and safety performance. All right. Now, safety plan shall include details of all meetings that are held to specifically deal with occupational health and safety issues. In particular, contractors shall hold a monthly meeting chaired by contractors representative, which client be invited to attend, with following items on agenda. What are those? Suitability of contractors' occupational health and safety organization for ongoing and planned work. Effectiveness of contractors' occupational health and safety management system. Significant areas of planned activity and associated risk. Method statement review and job hazard analysis planning, tracking and closure of whatever identified deficiencies or non-conformities. Then you can say taking in a driven method statement review and job hazard analysis, planning, tracking and closure of any identified deficiencies or non-conformities, incident incident review and occupational health and safety promotion planning, training needs assessment, auditing and inspection planning. Occupational health and safety plan is important. It's also, this is also safety that I take water. Water you can't move. Right. So let me take some water. Input of light, I think. Better I put of light. Very good. All right. Occupational safety promotional planning, training needs assessment, and auditing and inspection planning. Occupational health and safety plans shall describe contractor safety management system that be used throughout and conform with all requirements defined within contract and related documentation. Content shall include but not be limited to following. That's let us say front cover, page cover. You can say like book. Front cover followed by contents, table of contents, or you can say index. Then next page is project scope, requirements, and occupational health and safety objectives. And then it should be occupation health and safety policy on BS British standards, OHSAS, and 18,001 certificate if applicable, and control of occupational health and safety plan, reference documents, followed by safety organization and responsibilities, and subcontractor occupational health and safety, and risk assessment and method statement, and then non-conformance corrective and preventive action after the incident reporting and audits, training, key performance indicators, and continual improvement, management review, and then safety meetings, monthly safety report, and appendices. Then there should be occupational health and safety policy. Contractors shall comply with client vision, mission, and strategic objectives. Contractors shall develop and implement its own written occupational health and safety policy, which shall be project specific and demonstrate contractors' understanding and of commitment to maintaining standards of occupational health and safety (OHS) that are consistent with an integral part of contractors' business strategy. Contractors must set objectives and targets that be applicable to SMART. SMART is very important here. This is a smart point. SMART. S stands for specific. M stands for measurable. Specific, measurable, achievable. It should be specific first of all, means very particular, very pinpointed, and measurable. We can understand what size it is, what value it is. And A stands for achievable. We can achieve it. And R stands for realistic. It should be real, not imaginary. And then what about time of that? So we can say contractors must set objectives and targets that are applicable to SMART, feeling hot like this on power stone. SMART, that is specific, measurable, achievable, and realistic. Remember this very smart term can be used anywhere. You can say S stands for specific or in particular, M stands for measurable. You can say A stands for achievable, R stands for realistic, and T stands for time. Spay again. Specific, you can say specific, measurable, achievable, and R stands for realistic. T stands for time. Time scale. If you remember, fine, you can use this everywhere. What's wrong with that? It should be particular city, so particular specific point it is, and I was telling you this specific point, and you can value it, you can measure it as well, and yes, it can be achieved. You may say that it is reality. It's not fake. It's not fictitious, and it is time based. It's a time scale. That's what smart definition can be used somewhere else also. Risk assessment and job hazard analysis. Risk assessment and job hazard is very big chapter. We have given somewhere else. I already safety. You can see that. You'll find all that. I don't repeat what I've done. I repeated this one because I wanted to let you know something with this. And this also there's nothing to show. Then we go to risk assessment, job hazard analysis. The assessment of risk is very difficult actually. For every activity, we have to understand it ourselves. We cannot do it to others. Means what type of activity you are going to do, what is involvement in that, what job is involved there, and what hazard is there. We have to understand this. It's very easy if you have knowledge of that. If you don't have knowledge, you cannot understand that. All activities have different types of risks and different hazard. You know, for example, we are doing excavation or you are doing something else. It's daytime, temperature higher. Is it risk? Of course, people can fall in sun. There's no water. They have to drink water. You don't have to go and work. You can't. They used to go and take food later, take lunch. Come on, sit down, work first. No, that's against risk. Means you are subjecting them to risk of fall, risk of heat, risk of dehydration, and these are also hazard. If suppose that person falls into spit, deep pit, what shall happen? Think of that. Such hazards and such risk must be listed properly for all major activities. And that has been done. Some you can see my noting. And next one in intervention. Intervention. Oh my God, this is very hot. Why is this put like off all the time? Let me put up this bulb also because this is based on inverter. Should stop. Oh my God. I was talking peacefully, comfortably with this power and this my shirt are not cooperating. So let me see how it's working because why this again message and message. I'm fed up with these people with messages. Now let's again move to that point, which is very important one. So I said that this intervention, what is intervention here? Now it says that intervention means positive intervention means uh, on project, throughout project and contractors shall has to adopt system by authorizing and requiring all personal all personnel and subcontractors employees to intervene in any unsafe act or condition and take immediate corrective actions to prevent incident occurring. Means actually in safety and health, everybody's responsibility. So not necessarily that I have to be there. You are there. You are also individual on site, worker on site. You know there's something wrong going on. You can stop that. You can notify that. If you can't stop that, you think somebody will fall. You can ask me, you are going to fall. Or just for example, you use your life belt or use your lifeline, or you fall. You're not wearing a helmet, or somebody is going to certainly be a victim of that. So everybody can request other or ask other, safe, don't do it. And this must be taken care of by everybody. Sometimes what happens, people are in anxiety, they are busy, they are thinking of activity only, and during that anxiety, they miss something. They forget that they're standing in height, and they ignore something. Or this happens and accident can happen. So for that purpose, intervention is not a problem. Means you cannot say why you are telling me. As far as issue of safety is concerned, everybody can say you are not safe. You can it can happen to you. Take your care. Go this way or that way. Even we can say to everybody, whosoever, everyone can be said that. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Now, what may be monitored by representative of client who may intervene in whatever unsafe act or whatever unsafe condition and require contractor to take immediate corrective action to prevent incident if it has to occur. Contractor is required to acknowledge that system of positive intervention in use on project is one that shall enhance following. Enhance following what? These followings are, let us see what it will do better. Number one, level of understanding. It will do make better level of understanding, and that is awareness of occupational health and safety issues throughout project. That's what it will do. Then levels of personal responsibility and accountability for occupational health and safety issues. Levels of levels of proactive towards occupational health and safety issues, levels of compliance with contractual requirements and project occupational health and safety standards, incident and injury preventions. What prevention? So these are 5 points here. Contract may focus of occupational health and safety audits conducted by representative of client. Contractor is required to cooperate with such audits and to acknowledge all audit findings. Contract shall take corrective and preventive actions that may be required to address any non-conformity identified during such auditing. Contractor may be focus of occupational health and safety inspections conducted by representative of client and required to cooperate with and acknowledge such inspections and take all corrective and preventive actions. Now, contractor shall undertake routine occupational health and safety inspections and audits for ongoing work. Written records of inspections and audits shall be maintained and made available to whatever representative or client up to request, upon request. Now, contractors may be issued with stop work instruction. This is very difficult, from engineer by engineer to or by for any observed cases of Okay, thank you. I relief some relief at least. It's really sorry, gentlemen, just a minute. Some relief at least. Let me try your switch. Okay, no problem. It will try itself. Now, say contractor may be issued with stop work instruction from engineer for whatever observed cases of serious or imminent danger associated with work. Now, on receipt of such stop work instruction, contractor shall refrain from work until such time as remedial actions are taken to alleviate serious or imminent danger and to prevent it reoccurring. The contractor shall stop work of any unknown or unplanned conditions occur that give rise to serious or imminent danger. In such circumstances, contractor shall assess risks associated with any remedial work required and revise method statements and job hazard analysis, revised method statements, and shall be reviewed and approved by contractors, occupational occupational head and safety manager. Revised methods, revised methods, revised methods. Statements shall be approved by engineer before recommencing work. The work. Then requirement of training. This is for everybody. Requirement of training is a must. Contract shall conduct training, including contract-specific induction, pre-work briefings, toolbox talks, very important item, general awareness, training, skill training, and skills training, and formal training conducted by training professionals or training agencies. Contract-specific induction shall be at least 3 hours, 2 hours duration, specific induction approved by engineer and provided for all persons all persons that enter work site. Such induction training such induction training shall be reviewed, revised, revised, repeated for all persons that enter work site at periods not exceeding 6 months throughout duration of work. All trainings shall be provided in languages preferred by recipients of training, and then contractors required to provide employees of client occupational health and safety training related to work undertaken by contractor. Training is an integral part of job performance. Now, now it's identity cards. Contractor shall provide all contractor, personal subcontractors, employees certain unique to individual eye contact specific for identity cards. Such cards shall be made available to representative of client or request. Contractor shall not permit whatever contractor, personal or subcontractors employees to access work site unless they have been issued with their individual unique unique photo identity cards. Such cards will now be issued prior to contractor, personal or subcontractors, employees, contractor induction training course. Now, contractors shall appoint a competent supervisor for each and every area of following work activities. It's for temporary and permanent electrical installation, crane and lifting, application operation, appliance operations, scaffolding, erection, alteration, and dismantling, confined space entry, excavation, working height, you can say. Contract shall produce a health and safety training matrix based on training needs, analysis of person working on project. Matrix must detail positions against training. Training topics will be based on number of factors such as but not be limited to trends in monthly statistics, objectives that have been set, recurring issues on site, and accident incidents on site. Courses designed to meet needs of specific operatives involved in specialized trades, including their routes, roles, and responsibilities, must be provided through training. Following training could be considered to become specialist but not be limited to these items, and these are safe entry into confined space. This is very specific training. Safe entry into confined space, then crane operations, slingers, banksmen, scaffolding, false work, temporary works, abrasive wheels, woodworking, machinery, excavation, support equipment, first aid, fire marshal, accidents, investigation, and external training must be delivered by external agencies, computer agencies. Then you can say, if you go further, it says companies shall provide training and instruction to their employees in relation to performance of their work. Training shall be provided during working hours and immediately after employee commences employment. It shall include occupation hygiene should be essential elements of local laws and regulations, and then policies and procedures concerning aspect of human rights. Those are relevant to operations. Then contractors shall actively encourage in encourage following for their workforce, creating employment opportunity, facilitating training opportunities for employees with a view to improving skills level. Then ensuring non-discrimination in hiring and promoting practices, promoting lifelong learning and on job training, and all training shall be provided in appropriate languages based on demographics of accommodation facility. The contractor shall retain records of all training provided to workers, residents. Such records shall include as a minimum name, age, and nationality of those attending training course session and type of training provided. All right, now, so contractors shall retain records of all training provided to workers. Such records shall be submitted to engineer with all names, age, and engineer would inspect them. यार ये लोग मानेंगे नहीं मैसेज में कैसे लोग हैं ये क्या करूँ मैं इनका ये डफर लोग कहाँ से आ गए यार इकट्ठे होके I'm fed up with these people, believe me. Now, contract shall conduct emergency drills to thoroughly test its emergency preparedness and response within 6 months of date of award of contract, and thereafter at periods not exceeding 6 months throughout duration of work. Now, contractors shall hold a contract-specific occupational health and safety meeting chaired by contractors representative on a monthly basis duration of work. Additionally, contractors shall include occupational health and safety as an item on agenda for each and every meeting held and ensure that subject is actually discussed. And contractors shall provide contract-specific safe practice booklets for each and every person employed. All right, so this booklet we have to provide giving all training. Okay, very good. So from the method statements, okay, emergency response plan. This is very important. We call it ERP, emergency response plan. Contractor shall prepare an emergency response plans for project and following, but not limited to, shall be addressed. Responsibilities. Responsibilities, risk assessment and hazard identification and controls for potential emergency. Then hazard identification and controls, coordination with outside emergency response organizations, arrival of outside emergency response groups, and emergency response equipment, emergency emergency drills and tests of emergency preparedness and response programs. Crisis management plan, major events emerging response plan, edu- evacuation procedure, medical facilities, site fire prevention and response reporting, environmental spill releases, security including bomb threat and malicious threats and severe weather conditions. I'll repeat this because these points are important. This is responsibilities, Jumedari, risk assessment and hazard identification and control for potential emergencies, hazard identification and controls, then coordination with outside emergency response organizations and arrival of outside emergency response groups, emergency response equipment, emergency drills, tests of emergency preparedness and report response program, crisis management plan, major events, emergency response plan, evacuation procedure. Emergency drills, a test of emergency preparedness and response programs, and crisis management plan, major events emergency response plan, evacuation procedure, medical facilities, site fire prevention response supporting, spills and releases, security including bomb threat, malicious threats, and several weather conditions. Now, it shall be mandatory that all personnel are aware and understand what actions to take and when to take them in event of an emergency. Contractor shall provide such information, instruction and training as could be required to assist personnel to respond approximately in event of an emergency. By engineer in order to verify suitability and capability of arrangements, and contractor shall ensure a schedule is produced or then you can say ERP for review by engineer in order to verify suitability of capability of arrangements. Now, contractor shall ensure a schedule is produced to conduct drills and exercise on a regular basis at sites under its control. Records of drills and exercises conducted shall be kept together with details of follow-up actions and performance assessment for audit purposes. First emergency drill be conducted within first 30 days. 30 calendar days means following commencement of operations. Drills shall be conducted on a 6 monthly basis as a minimum. All emergency response plans shall be reviewed and whenever necessary revised and updated every 6 months period. Period of auditing must be carried out to ensure compliance. Earthquake emergency management plan. Earthquake emergency management plan. This is something different. Earthquake management emergency plan. I'm feeling thirsty again. Mm, okay, go further. Sorry. Now, earthquake emergency management plan. Earthquake, you know what is earthquake? Everybody knows. No need to explain this. Seismic action when earth vibrates, shakes. Background. During month of April 2013, the earthquake occurred in Iran. Remember, with varying degrees of tremors felt in state of Qatar and wider Middle East region. April 16, 2013 was by far larger earthquake measured 7.8 on Richter scale, with tremors being felt in numerous locations and buildings across region. Whilst events of this type are rare, impacts could be serious both from a human and business scale. Now, these events, it is clear from these events clear that should in earthquake evacuation procedures, this emergency management plan had been developed. However, it requires integration into existing emergency and evacuation plans. It is to be advised that earthquake procedure, whilst very important, is one element of a much larger requirement for emergency management planning to ensure that all scenarios and eventualities are addressed inclusive of crisis management and business continuity. I repeat this line. It's to be advised that earthquake procedure, whilst very important, is one element of a much larger requirement for emergency management planning to ensure that all scenarios and eventualities are addressed, inclusive of crisis management and business continuity. Requirements. Requirements are outlined below is a suggested approach that could be taken to take into account these other elements of emergency planning, starting with a review of current arrangements for buildings, towers, and associated structures, inclusive of car parks. And the suggested overall approach would be a three-phase priority approach. First phase, identifying as is situation to be desired, outcome to be, test to be, and future requirement, but this is not limited and may require additional elements as recommended by experts. So phase one is gap analysis, phase two phase one is gap analysis, and phase two is implementation, and phase three is future requirements. So what phase one says, this is phase one is gap analysis, as is it's called, is engage relevant technical experts for various aspects of review, inclusive of but not limited to fire design engineer, only that not should be there, health and safety consultant, training provider, etc. Whoever are involved must be consulted with, must be there. Then review all existing emergency procedures, plans, and protocols within organization and engage with other stakeholders such as civil defense to understand all wider requirements. Review review of all buildings physical emergency evacuation system to ensure they meet relevant codes and legislative requirements. Review of all evacuation review all evacuation assembly points and engage other building owners. Other building owners. Review all evacuation assembly points and engage other building owners in necessary nearby organization building. Develop work assessments for organization personnel and safety wardens during review organizational building maintenance department records, identify relevant codes, legislative requirements, and specific procedures needed for forward planning. Identify salient issues for consideration, namely high rise building, crowded indoor public places, indoor safety, outdoor safety, automobiles, etc. Identify non-structural hazards such as file cabinets, rack storage units, bookshelves, HVAC, etc. Involve other stakeholders such as organization, health and safety section, civil defense, Ministry of Environment, other buildings, owners in immediate district, etc. to ensure views, requirements, interests, and responsibilities as established. Now, review existing buildings, business resiliency, existing business resiliency and continuity plans, process, and procedures. Review existing crisis management plan, process, and procedure. Then, now phase two, this implementation, how to do it. That's the point. How to do it. It says, implement agreed gap analysis outputs approach inclusive of all manuals, procedures, technical information required. Agreed gap analysis output approach inclusive of develop administrative processes and procedures to support plan. Communicate communicate plan to all those affected at different business. Include for planning of all associated drills and lessons learned and implement lessons learned into plan processes and procedures. Establish periodic review of emergency system. Phase 3 future requirements. Advise if engagement of future consultants engineers to undertake seismic survey of existing buildings, seismic survey, development of business continuity plans and development of post-earthquake assessment procedures. Then undertake training and awareness for whatever developed process and procedures. Include for planning of any associated drills and lessons learned. Include for planning of any associated drills and lessons learned, development of all related support materials, development of coordination procedures with civil defense and other authorities during Earthquake, periodic review of emergency planning system. What should we do during an earthquake? This common person it is. What should we do? Hmm. Stay calm, calm. Stay calm. If you are inside or indoors, stay inside, and if you are outside, stay outside. Right? Don't panic means is that. If you are indoors, stand against a wall near center of building, stand in a doorway or crawl under heavy furniture, a desk or table, and that is cover your head and neck. Drop down onto your hands and knees. Drop down onto your hands and knees, right? Knees and hands. Drop down like this down. Stay away from windows and outside doors. Stay away from windows and outside doors. If you are in outdoors, stay in open, away from power lines or anything that might fall. Stay away from buildings. Don't use matches, candles, or any flame. Broken glass lines and fire, don't mix them. Broken gas lines and fire, don't mix. If you are in a car, stop car and stay inside car until earthquake stops. Don't use elevators or put yourself at risk. For impaired mobility, those are impaired. If you can't drop to ground, try to sit or remain seated so you are not knocked down. If you are in a wheelchair, lock your wheelchair. Lock your wheels. Protect your head and neck with a large book, a pillow, or your arms. What should we do after an earthquake? After an earthquake. Check yourself and others for injuries. Check yourself and others for injuries. Provide first aid for whosoever needs it. Check building, water and electric lines for damage. If are damaged, isolate if possible and report to relevant authorities. Turn on radio. Don't use mobile phones unless it is an emergency. चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. So turn on radio. Don't use mobile phones unless it's an emergency. Stay out of damaged building. Stay inside buildings unless directed to otherwise. Evaluate and critic once a crisis situation is established. Expect further aftershocks. Stay away from beaches. Tsunamis sometimes hit and hit and after ground has stopped shaking. If you are at work, follow emergency arrangements and instructions for particular building after earthquake. Now, spatial safety requirements and precautions. Spatial safety requirements and precautions, which is very important point from professional viewpoint. Spatial safety requirements. Spatial safety requirements. Let's say that permits guarantee mechanical plant machinery and equipment, then existing utilities, excavations, and now we'll go one by one and see what says. This is something very extraordinary here. Let's go to permits. That is special safety requirements permits. What are permits here? Now, I think I should do this today and don't take predict. I wanted to predict also, but I think it's not be it won't be possible in this time. Let me close this door. I think heat is coming in. Just a minute. Let me close this door. So heat stops coming in. Let me stop. Hold on, please. Sorry. Okay. Fine. No. Sorry for 1 minute. Take it outside now. Spatial safety requirements and precautions. Permits. Permit to work system. Permit to work is very important item. Without that permit, you cannot work there. Permit to work system means hard work, excavation, scaffolding, and electric work. Hard work, excavation, scaffolding, and electric work shall be observed, correctly issued, signed, and client requirement enforced. When undertaking this work on an existing utility, service item of equipment or structure, a permit to enter observed, correctly issued, signed, and client requirement enforced when undertaking any work in confined space. I again speak this because this is very specific. Permit to work called PTW, permit to work PTW short we say. Hard work, excavation, scaffolding, and electric work shall be observed, correctly issued, signed, and client requirement enforced. When undertaking Such work on existing utility service item of equipment or structure. Permit to work entry system, permit to enter, not to work here, that was permit to work, permit to enter there. System shall be observed, correctly issued, signed, and client requirement enforced when any work in a confined space. Guarantee. Where contract requires work to be carried out within or adjacent to pipeline or at a sewage treatment plant, contractor shall comply with authority. This is called guarantee. That line should be safe means that STP should be safe means that mechanical plant, machinery and equipment. Sufficient suitable standby plant. Sufficient suitable standby plant shall be immediately available in cases where safety of works or of personnel depends upon mechanical plant. What does it mean? Sufficient suitable standby plant shall be immediately available in cases where safety of works or of personnel depends upon mechanical plant. Test and thorough examination by a competent person of all equipment that is capable of storing energy, such as air receivers and pressure vessels, is required at periods not exceeding 12 months. Reports of such test and examination to be held on worksite and made available to employer on request. It says a competent person should test and thoroughly examine all such equipment which is capable of storing energy, that equipment, and that is air receivers, pressure vessels. That should be done at periods not exceeding 12 months. And B, such test and examination reports should be kept held at work site, and we should produce them to employer when requested. Now, contractors shall make arrangements for all mobile plant. Contractors shall make arrangements for all mobile plant and vehicles that enter work site to be checked by third-party certification, you can say independent certification, to ensure following are provided and in good working order. Third party means neither this party, employer, nor that third party, contractor, but third party which has to do nothing with either employer or contractor. Independent party which has got no relation to either of both. What is it? Braking systems. Certification of braking systems. Certification of steering system. Gauges and warning lights, operating controls, windscreen and wipers, reversing alarms, rear view mirrors, roll over protection devices, wheels, tires, track, pneumatic and hydraulic hoses, seat belts and anchors, fuel lines and tanks, electrical control systems, suspension and stabilization systems, body work, covers and panels. I repeat, this is a very important point. It says that contractors shall make arrangements for mobile plant and vehicles that enter work site to be checked by third party certification to ensure following are provided and are in good work order, and these items which must be inspected for and certification purpose for those vehicles or those vehicles and plants. These items must be taken care of by third party, and that is braking system, steering system, braking system, steering system, gauges and warning lights, gauges and warning, operating controls, windscreen and wipers and reversing alarms, rear view mirrors, roll over protection devices, wheels, tires, track, and pneumatic and hydraulic hoses, seat belts and anchors, fuel lines and tanks, electrical control systems, suspension and stabilization system, body work cover and panels. These are minimum, and whatever else required should be done. Mobile plant and vehicles that are defective shall be removed from use in work areas and taken to repair facility on work site or removed from work site. Repair work be carried out by trained and authorized mobile plant and vehicle repair technicians. Whenever maintenance work is ongoing, machinery or equipment will be isolated and be energized. All mobile plant and vehicle operators shall hold relevant Qatari driving license or in whatever country they work that license for category of plant or vehicle that they operate. In addition, operators of mobile plant shall be in possession of a third-party training certificate to verify that they have skills necessary for safe use of plant. Operators shall use mobile plant and vehicles only in accordance with their operating manuals. Contractors shall conduct a job hazard analysis JHA for each item of machinery and equipment that shall be used or that is used. Following no site rules shall be observed by all mobile plant and vehicle operators. These are mobile plant and delivery vehicles shall not be reversed without a banksman in attendance. It says mobile plant, that is excavator, JVC, shovel or truck or pump or whatsoever, crane, mobile plant and delivery vehicles shall not be reversed without a banksman in attendance. Banksman, there should be some person behind that. Do not depend upon signals only. There should be someone behind that when rear work is done, so that that person can guard it, will assign others, please go from here, this is taking back. That is called banksman. Dependable person, that's called bankman, and that person, without that direction of the person, operator or driver of that plant shall not take action. No passengers shall be carried on mobile plants or vehicles other than those in seats that are specifically designed for carrying passengers. Contract shall prevent oil or fuel leak causing environmental pollution. Contract shall prevent Contract shall prevent oil or fuel leak causing environmental pollution. Contractor will shall eliminate or reduce associated hazards for construction lift, such as construction lift failure, falling persons and falling objects, by meeting or bettering these specifications, and all construction lifts shall have flat base plates. flat base plates. There's a construction lifts without holes or openings, enclosed sides and roof that are designed to prevent from falling objects. I repeat, all construction lifts shall have flat base plates without holes or openings, enclosed sides and roof that are designed to prevent from falling objects. All construction lifts shall have overload protection devices that prevent movement of platform if it is overloaded. Existing utilities, existing utilities means which are functional, which are working. Now, prior to excavation in an area, location of existing utilities shall be confirmed from as-built drawings. Contract with utility authorities and trial holes. This point is very important. Initial point, maybe people in our country don't understand, or this says that you are going to excavate something, don't blindly excavate. You have to find where services are running. There may be water line below ground, there may be sewer line below ground, there may be electric cable below ground, there may be some other services, gas services below ground, there can be any sort of services which is live, which we can say existing one, not dead one. We should know before excavation where services are running. And if we don't have any record, we must reach respective local body or authority who knows about that. And they must have some drawings about that. And if we get that drawings, then we should do first manual excavation and excavation here, not jump only to direct machine excavation. We have to see exposure of that one. So there is a long process for that. Now this point is just telling you prior to excavating an area, location of existing utilities shall be confirmed from as built drawings, contact with utility authorities and trial holes. Try holes would tell you where is service, and once you manage that, maybe that service is required to be diverted. Who knows? If it is required to be diverted, you divert it or let department divert it, or maybe it's required to protect it, you protect it. Now, excavation in vicinity of any utility shall be carried out to requirements of utility owner, what that utility owner says. Protection for utility is least effective means of controlling any associated risk. Where contractor uses this method, following will be provided if only protection is required. That is very important point. Now, protection for utility is least effective. Let's say how it means what contractor has to do in that case. Marker posts or blocks that clearly indicate nature, depth, and path of all underground services or utilities. Right? It says marker posts or blocks that clearly indicate nature, depth, and path of all underground utilities. Put off on that. Now we have put marker, post, you have put blocks or something like that, indicating where services, nature, what services, electrical, sewer line, water line, or something, or depth, what's depth of that, and what's path, which way it is running, where traffic routes pass over underground utilities, temporary protection shall be provided. Warning signs to traffic stating minimum vehicle weight that may safely cross that service. Utility shall be positioned on access route at each side of utility. Temporary barriers means barriers to understand. Temporary barriers or fences run parallel to route of overhead utilities, warning signs detailing nature of overhead utilities on barriers or fences. Where traffic routes pass below overhead utilities, warning signs stating maximum vehicle height and height restrictors be positioned on access route at each side of overhead utility where construction activities adjacent to utilities undertaken, minimum clearance distances be clearly established and communicated to each and every person involved with construction activity. Now, traffic routes and materials stockpiles areas be clearly identified and established prior to excavation work starts commences. Traffic routes and material stockpiles. All excavation areas, traffic routes and stockpile, I mean to say where material is piled up. Stockpile areas are to be surveyed for overhead services. Services identified are to be removed or clearly marked with height restrictions and warning information. Now, excavations. Excavations. You know what excavation is? Now, during planning stage, all materials and equipment required for safe excavation work must be clearly identified. Such equipment and materials may include following. I repeat, during planning stage itself, all materials and equipment required for safe excavation work must be clearly identified. Such equipment and materials may include following items: shoring, 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 solid barriers, vehicle stop blocks, access ladders or scaffolding, ventilation, lighting, signage, pumps, generators, air monitoring devices, movement monitoring equipment, rescue equipment. I repeat, shoring, shoring means supporting excavation sites so that it may not collapse. Solid barriers, barriers are barriers, and vehicle stop blocks. Big blocks are kept for vehicle stop blocks, and access ladders or scaffolding to go into trench and come out. Ventilation, if it's too deep and narrow, and lighting means electric bulbs or lights, whatsoever required, or sunlight, signage, directions, pumps, if it's water area to draw de-water, generators, no electricity required, generators, and all air monitoring devices, standard of air, how much pollution is there, where people should be there, they must have good air. Moment monitoring equipment, rescue equipment if something happens, how to take people out. For all excavation work, a competent excavation supervisor requires to be appointed and deployed. Level of training and experience required to determine competence shall vary depending on complexity of excavation. That supervisor shall have previous experience of this type of excavation work to be undertaken and formal occupational health and safety training relative to safety of excavation work. Temporary safety barriers should be used. Temporary safety barriers should be used to protect workers and traveling public from excavations that are more than 300 mm deep in accordance with Qatar Work Zone Traffic Management Guide. Temporary safety barriers should be used to protect workers and traveling public from excavation that are more than 30 feet deep. I mean to say 1 feet deep in 1 foot deep in accordance with Qatar Work Zone Traffic Management Guide. Once design requirements are known, a job hazard analysis of excavation work shall be completed by excavation supervisor with assistance of occupational health and safety staff and engineers as required. Job hazard analysis shall clearly identify job specific risks and control measures for excavation work. Prior to commencement of excavation work, all persons involved shall be given a pre-work briefing based on job hazard analysis relating to risks and required control measures. Relating to risks and required control measures for excavation work. Appointed excavation supervisor shall be responsible for presenting and recording briefing. Prior to commencement of work, all materials, plants, and equipment shall be checked to ensure that they are in good condition. In particular, condition of all mechanical excavators shall be checked to ensure that all windows of driver's cab are clean, unbroken, and unobstructed. Rear view mirrors are securely attached, unbroken, and clean. All track plates, and connectors are in good condition and secured with proprietary locking pins. All dipper arm joints and attachments are secured with proprietary pins and locking pins. All task and indicator lighting is in working order. Trucks shall only be operated by persons with valid Qatari driving licenses. Plants such as excavators, loading shovels, etc., shall only be operated by trained and competent operators that hold valid third party certification for type of plant being operated. This certification is required in addition to Qatari driving license requirements. When reversing of truck is necessary for collection or delivery of materials, a banksman shall be in attendance. All banksmen shall be provided with high visibility clothing and be trained in safety aspects of reversing vehicles. Where vehicles are reversing up to an excavation or traveling alongside an excavation, vehicle stop blocks or vehicle barriers shall be provided to prevent them falling into excavation. Continuous adequate solid barriers shall be placed around all excavations over 1.2 meter deep at a distance of at least 1.2 meter. Continuous adequate solid barriers shall be placed around all excavations over 1.2 meters deep. Depth of excavation, it is more than 1.2 meter deep. It says that at a distance of at least 1.2 meter from excavation. Where nighttime pedestrian or vehicle access is adjacent to excavation, then all solid barriers shall be fitted with warning lights. Pedestrian access to and from excavations. Pedestrian access to and from all excavations shall be by means of ladder or adequately constructed staircases. Possibility of a person falling from a height of more than 2 meters from access will be prevented. Horizontal distance between access points shall be exceeded 15 meters. Horizontal distance, horizontal distance between access points shall not exceed 15 meters. All ladders used on project shall be manufactured in accordance with an internationally recognized standard. Ladder that is found to be defective shall be removed from use immediately. All straight ladders shall be positioned at an angle to minimize risk of slipping or falling backwards. Distance between two Distance between base of vertical plane and base of ladder will be 1 unit out for each 4 unit in height. Get it? 1 is to 4. 4 vertical, 1 horizontal. Distance between base of vertical plane and base of ladder shall be 1 unit out for each 4 unit in height of vertical plane. Ladders that are used to gain access from one level to another will or shall extend at least 1 meter above upper level surface. Where a general access ladder run extends a distance of more than 6 meters, a landing point with a firm level platform and fall prevention measures shall be provided at each and every 6 meters. Now go further. Last paragraph was ladders that are used to gain access from one level to another shall extend at least 1 meter above upper level surface, where a general access ladder runs extends a distance of more than 6 meters, a landing point with a firm level platform and fall prevention measures shall be provided at each and every 6 meters. Excavation Excavations shall be kept clean and tidy all times. Accumulated waste and unused materials shall be removed from excavations on a daily basis. All excavations shall be thoroughly cleaned prior to any backfilling operations commencing to prevent risk associated with falling objects, excavated material, other materials and equipment shall not be stored at edge of any excavation. A clear distance of 2 meters shall be maintained around all excavations. Warning signs. Contractors shall set up and maintain clear and legible throughout course of contract enough traffic diversion signs in accordance with Qatar Work Zone Traffic Management Guide and additional warning signs and guides. Additional areas that require warning signs and barriers are excavations over 1.2 meter deep, any edge or whatever edge, opening or platform from where a person may fall more than 2 meters, electrical transformers and substations, confined space, entry points, areas below and around working at height and heavy lifting operations, areas of open water more than 1 meter deep, areas where flammable goods are stored, areas where radiation resources are used or stored, areas within work sites that are classed as non construction areas, areas within non-construction areas where construction activity is ongoing, areas below overhead utilities, areas above underground services, areas where test and commissioning activities are ongoing. Warning signs shall clearly state that nature and of hazard and instruct people of correct actions to take. Warning signs shall be manufactured in accordance. Warning signs will be manufactured in accordance with internationally recognized standards. All signs shall be English in English, Arabic, or local language, and languages preferred can be understood by workforce on a work site. All safety barriers and barricades are to comply with Qatar Work Zone Traffic Management Guide. Then we confined spaces. Let me see what time we have. It's already 4:03, so we can continue. No problem. I'll hold here. I hold here at this moment because we have to see so many things. My computer is not that strong. Can work for more than 4 hours. Means, let us review it just a minute. What actually we say. Now we have taken up means this. I take tomorrow all this page now. I don't know what page it is. It's page. Let me see what page it is. It is 95 or 246 page. Now I'll try to continue next time tomorrow and this because this is very important and very risky management of excavation. If excavation is most important risk factor, you start with something. It's not only excavation, whatever safety factors we have talked so far, whatever safety plan we talked so far, whatever other items we talked so far, this is from international specifications, and that is generally because I am referring to Qatar means state of Qatar, Doha. That's like international standards. They don't do their own standards. International standards work there, and these countries on Gulf and everywhere they're very much specific about safety and maintenance. And we have to understand that it's not like our country, whatever one wants to do it. Means there's something that we have to do. That's the reason. That's the only reason that I want to disseminate my knowledge to others. It's not exactly my knowledge. I'm just trying to refer to some documents. My knowledge that I have for explanation purpose. I'm doing that. Whenever required, I explain for work because based on my experience, you can say it's not simply that I'm just reading and telling you reading because these are documents and these are very simple documents. You cannot say very complicated documents because this is all technical engineering based and these actually means for safety of all workers including everybody. And you should know safety is not easy. It's a responsibility of each and everybody. Everybody is responsible as far as safety, health, and environment, along with ergonomics are concerned. I have conducted many talks about safety, health, environment, and ergonomics on my Facebook pages. You will find on my Facebook video pages you will find there are so many talks regarding safety, health, and environment in past. This is I'm talking not specific for safety because this is for general specifications. But I'm trying to really reflect to you general specifications from Qatar specifications volume. Before I talk to you about general, there was concrete specifications. That was section 5 of Qatar civil specifications. This is section 1 of Qatar civil specifications, which covers many aspects of that. And it's in continuation to those others. Safety also has come into picture. Whatever comes into picture that I have to reflect to you. In addition, I do my own opinions on that because it is some reference document and this improves by after long means it's 2014 document, sometimes more than 17 document. It's updated one you can say. And that's the only purpose. I want to disseminate knowledge not only this country, all country. I know people are not going to do anything in this country. They are very rigid people here in our country. Here no value of life, no value of anything. But it's very, it's not that one. You can say that we have to depend. We have to learn this. Learning is much more important. If you learn something, only then you can apply. If you don't learn, you cannot apply. And excavation, concreting, shuttering, rebars, reinforcing bars, and many more activities, scaffolding, hard work, cold work, industrial work. There are so many means activities that require. So there are books and books and books, but we are not going to in all books. We are going to understand practicality of all these because engineers are responsible for each and every activity. Safeties are there to just support them. Responsibility of everyone is safety. And there's a general saying that if you know safety, no means K and no W. If you know safety, there is no pain. And if you know safety, if you know safety, and if there is no safety, there is pain. You get my point. One is if you know safety, A and no W, no. अगर आप सेफ्टी जानते हैं तो आपको दर्द नहीं है, और अगर आप सेफ्टी नहीं रखते हैं तो दर्द ही दर्द है. नो सेफ्टी NOW, no safety, no pain, and if and no safety, no safety, no pain, that no comes to this no. You get my point. KNOW, no safety and no pain. And if and no safety, KNOW pain. अगर आप सेफ्टी मानते हैं तो दर्द नहीं है, और आप सेफ्टी नहीं मानते हैं तो दर्द ही दर्द है. मतलब कहने का यह है, if you want to be safe, remain safe everywhere on watch. Otherwise, you are going to face problem. Nobody can save you. So I today could not talk about FIDIC because I wanted to consume time here on this, and let us see how it moves because I cannot talk continuously for many hours. It's already 4 hours and more. So I should say, take your bye. I take leave now, and to see you again next time, whenever. Thank you very much for this. Okay.